And now, Labor's Anthony Albanese, he could be the next leader to just push too hard on global warming. He and Joel Fitzgibbon had a shouting match on Monday in front of other Labor frontbenchers. Fitzgibbon quit yesterday, protest, and today he was again warning publicly, Albo, back up.
Arguably, it cost Kevin Rudd's job. Arguably, it cost Julie Gillard her job. And arguably, it's cost Labor 3 elections.
But you know how it is with climate fanatics. You think they listen to reason? Up bobs one of Labor's new class types, frontbencher Mark Dreyfus, swish lawyer, doesn't bother living in his poor electorate, telling the world today that it's Fitzgibbon who's out of touch, even though Labor last year got beaten on exactly this issue.
Joel is out of step. He's out of step with not only the Labor Party, he's out of step with thinking across Australia.
Mark Dreyfus, I think you're the one with 2 left feet here. So how's all this going to work out? Well, joining me a short while ago was Sky News Political Editor Andrew Clennell. Andrew Clennell, thank you so much for joining me. Debates in Labor aren't often this passionate, screaming, yelling, Fitzgibbon calling Mark Dreyfus an idiot, people suggesting there was going to be a punch-up. How severe is this division?
Oh, well, they're from the New South Wales Labor Party. Fitzgibbon's from the New South Wales Right. I think Anthony Albanese's view is, I'm from New South Wales Labor. This is what happens. Look, it was a very serious disagreement, shouting match. Fitzgibbon then retires from shadow cabinet next day. My belief clearly is Fitzgibbon wants Albanese replaced as leader. We know he's doing a lot of media. We know he's making a compelling case that Labor's not doing enough to attract the blue-collar vote. And Mark Dreyfus, very much on the left on these issues, he just, in the middle of it, told Joel Fitzgibbon he was a disgrace. But division is death in politics, as you know. Anthony Albanese will be hoping now he's off the front bench, he won't cause any more trouble. He's got Buckleys of that, I think, Anthony Albanese, and he's got some real concerns if he doesn't start doing a bit better in the polls, I think.
Well, it's cost them a couple of elections. I just wonder why they don't read the result from the last election where Shorten went too far. Anthony Albanese is no fool. He must know that global warming is an Achilles heel for Labor. So where is he on this?
Yeah, I don't know. It is confusing to me. I mean, I think perhaps he's got a genuine belief towards the left, so he kind of sticks to that and he listens to Mark Butler. And he would say to you, look, I'm always on about jobs. What are you talking about? But there was an occasion on Monday, the first 2 questions were on net zero emissions by 2050. And, you know, Joe Biden won, what are you going to do about it, to Scott Morrison. We've set this target, but goodness me, Andrew, I mean, the kitchen tables around Australia, they're not sitting there tonight talking about net zero emissions by 2050, are they? They're worried about getting a job or making sure their family members stay in jobs or they can make ends meet. And, you know, that really has to be the focus. It's difficult because Scott Morrison's thrown so much money at it, but that money's going to run out. You know, he gave a pretty good budget reply speech, Anthony Albanese. He had some policies in there, childcare and electricity infrastructure and that kind of thing. But after a couple of days, that kind of faded a bit. It's probably about time he started setting out more what he stands for. I know he wants to play small target because Morrison will jump on whatever he does. But, gee whiz, you've got to show you're a leader, don't you? And I think this is one of the real dilemmas that Labor doesn't seem to stand for much. And that's where Fitzgibbon goes into the space, if you like. When we talk about the opposition, as you always do when you cover politics, that's become the #1 story. And for Anthony Albanese's interest and Labor's interest, it doesn't want to be the #1 story.
Yeah, the problem is, of course, when you're dealing with an issue like global warming where people are so passionate, it's almost religious, where you get words like disgrace thrown around, it's very hard to convince people to take a more moderate stand or to compromise. That's the difficulty. Can I just switch quickly to the border bans? I'm just wondering how much longer can premiers insist on these bans when we've got, right now, 77 cases of people who are still sick, almost all of them in hotel quarantine or whatever, and they're safely out of the way. These bans are killing us.
Yeah, we're close to elimination. There's absolutely no doubt about that. There shouldn't be any state border bans in place whatsoever. And believe it or not, Andrew, there's a belief, someone in the federal government suggested to me that WA could actually open to Sydney and Melbourne by Christmas, that the pressure will build there. A few weeks ago, I would have thought that was unimaginable, and I still struggle with it. I have family in WA I want to visit. At the moment, my family and I are considering going through South Australia for 14 days, which is expensive to get there over Christmas time. A lot of families must be struggling with these issues, and it's like you have to apply for a visa to get into WA, this G2G permit or whatever. It just seems crazy. And when there's no coronavirus cases around. So I hope there's some common sense comes into play here. We know National Cabinet's on Friday again, and hopefully there can be some movement on that front, because with no cases, we're close to elimination. Surely the state borders can open. And as you point out, where there are cases, they're in hotel quarantine. So there's 40 active cases in New South Wales, because New South Wales is taking more quarantine people from overseas. So don't penalise Sydney or people who want to go and see family in other parts of the country or do business in other parts of the country because of that.
No, I would have thought so, and I think the crunch time will come Christmas. Families torn apart by border bans for Christmas. That's going to be a very ugly thing for a number of politicians, I would have imagined. Andrew Clennell, thank you so much indeed for your time.
Thanks, Andrew.